Omaha's news leader, chronicling the stories and people making a difference in our community. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.
I felt lost and alone, and I felt like I failed because I didn't know how common miscarriages were, because we don't talk about them.
Oftentimes these women have never told anybody else they are pregnant yet, and then they are sitting in this dark room by themselves, not wanting to tell people they've lost a pregnancy, but needing the support of those around them.
We sit in our own pain, thinking that somehow we're broken.
But getting that support and help is critical during the grieving process. And this morning on Chronicle, we're trying to break that stigma and talk about the ache and pain of losing a baby. Good morning, I'm Julie Cornell. The holidays can be a challenging time of year for anyone who's lost a loved one. And today we hope to give you a couple tools that'll help you get through the next few weeks. We'll talk with a woman who started Healing Embrace, a nonprofit dedicated to helping families who've experienced pregnancy and infant loss. And then we'll also talk with an expert from Grief's Journey who will share some ideas for families trying to move through the holidays and tips for those who want to help someone who's struggling. First, a few facts. 15 to 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. An estimated 1 in 4 women experience a pregnancy loss each day in the U.S., and 71 mothers deliver a baby that is not alive. And that can have a lasting impact on a family. About 15% of women who experience a loss suffer from depression and anxiety for years to come. Well, miscarriages are heartbreaking and difficult to talk about, but a Wahoo woman is sharing her story of loss and grief in the hope of helping others. KETV Newswatch 7's Erin Hazanzadeh has her story.
Paige Anderson says she suffered about as much pain as she can handle. 4 miscarriages in 8 years. The first in 2009.
Our doctor just kind of stepped away, and I knew right away something wasn't right, and there was no heartbeat.
Heartbreak for Jamie and her family.
At first, it was really hard to relate and understand what she was going through.
On dark days, Jamie would retreat here to her cheery studio.
This is my happy place.
To escape the pain and heal her wounded spirit.
I was just crushed and broken, and I wasn't ready to try again for a while.
But when they did try again, it didn't go well. Paige had 3 more miscarriages in a year.
During that time, I journaled.
One of the pregnancies almost cost Jamie her life.
I think the hardest part was I didn't know what was wrong with me, so I couldn't fix me, and my babies just kept dying.
Then a little slice of heaven. Their son Elijah
And then she will finally be.
He's our rainbow baby.
Jamie's latest project is her newly published book, Rising for You. It's a collection of her artwork and innermost thoughts from her journal that she's sharing in the hope that someone else going through the grief process can find some comfort. And she wants to remember the babies she lost.
Leilani May, Lucas Lee, Leland Way, and Lucy Love.
But she knows she'll see them again.
I know that they have angels that come and get them, and I know they're alive and well.
Powerful story. Sometimes tragedy strikes after the baby arrives. I talked with a couple who lost one of their twins without warning, and they're left with the constant reminder of loss. They have this photo to hold on to, and with that picture also comes hope. From the beginning,
Cadence and Caleb, they were born at 31 weeks.
the twins of Dustin and Missy Soash defined love.
Who's here? Is that your daddy? Yeah.
Cadence is thriving.
She's almost 8 months old. She's meeting all of her milestones. Doctors are very impressed with her. She's no longer on the preemie charts.
With photographs everywhere, it's as if the twins have taken over the house, with one exception.
It was so beautiful, it would touch your soul to see something like that happen.
This image of the two, especially poignant. You see, the twins were born 9 weeks early as delicate preemies. 3 weeks later,
it was like a twilight zone. I mean, you fall asleep crying, and then when you wake up and realize you just begin to cry again.
Caleb's health took a turn.
They just kept telling us he's very sick. He's very, very sick.
He developed a dangerous condition.
The doctor said he's got necrotizing enterocolitis, and that's an inflammation of the intestines.
There were 2 emergency surgeries to stop his intestines from dying. Just after his funeral, exhausted, somber parents visited tiny Cadence in the NICU. We were there at the hospital for another story. The 2 inviting us in to share their joy.
Oh.
Masked by the wrappings of so much pain. They're learning time, in some ways, it heals.
What'd you think?
But in other ways, not so much.
It's kind of like my memory room.
The couple turned this room in their house into a place to hold Caleb a little closer.
On my hard days, because of course days are rough, I can go in there and for that little bit of time I can feel like I have both of my babies with me.
Their parents grieving together and reaching out to other parents.
It's tragic, it's devastating, but you're not alone. You know, we still have to carry on, and we can carry on together.
Encouraging openness.
Talk. Just talk and talk and talk. Repeat yourself. Just talk to each other.
And appreciating every tiny milestone, realizing with each baby step, someone is missing. I want to thank those families for sharing their stories. Joining me now is Jennifer Sommer, co-founder of Healing Embrace. And first, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about your story.
Our story started out as my husband and I not being able to conceive for about 4 years. And when we first did, we were completely ecstatic and overwhelmed and anticipated of bringing this baby into the world. We found out just right around 13 weeks that our baby had passed away. And we were completely at a loss. We didn't know what to do or even what to think.
Did that make you want to form Healing Embrace at that moment, or did it take a while?
No, our son was 10 at the time. And when we told our son a few days later, we were tucking him into bed, and he just asked, he's like, "Mom, what are you going to do with the baby after it's born?" Completely caught me off guard. It wasn't even something that we had thought about yet. So it was the wisdom of a 10-year-old who got us on this journey of thinking, well, what do we do after this baby is born, and how do we process that? And that's when the research first began of how to honor this child that we were having. But it wasn't until after our second loss of when Heal and Embrace had started shortly after that.
Wow. So it took a while to process, as it does for many people, and you had to think about what to do with it. What did you eventually settle on? You formed a nonprofit.
Yeah, so we moved to Omaha. We were in the process of moving from Ohio to Omaha. And we came here with very little support, didn't really know where to turn or who to talk to, so that grief was very silent. We got pregnant again about 9 months later, and then we tried to anticipate again bringing this baby home and move forward with joy. And we found out again right just before 12 weeks that baby no longer had a heartbeat. And we named that baby Joy because that's how we felt being pregnant again after loss. And it was shortly after that, again, not having a lot of support here or nowhere to turn or who to talk to, that's when I was like, something needs to change, something needs to happen. And so I went on to become Nebraska's first certified bereavement companion, so I could walk with families going through loss, and that the community knew that there's a resource that they can say, here, we don't know how to address this, but there's somebody that can, and there's somebody that can honor and validate your baby with you.
What do you offer to people?
So with Heal and Embrace, it's a wonderful plethora of things. Unfortunately, it's a huge need in our community, but we really found a way to embrace these families. And when we first started, we started out as wanting to offer financial support. So we wanted to help families pay for medical and funeral expenses, postpartum care, and grief counseling.
Something that people don't think about. Here they are expecting a baby and they're collecting supplies, and now they're buying a tiny little casket. I mean, it's devastating.
Yeah, it's something no family ever thinks about, and nor should you have to. We shouldn't have to expect, when we're pregnant, that we're planning for a funeral. But unfortunately, some of our families do.
Do you do group gatherings where you offer sharing and support?
We do. We meet at our office monthly, and it's just very organic, and we meet families where they're at along in their journey. And then we have a Facebook page, and we do events at our office. Like on Saturday, we have a holiday crafting thing, you know, where families can get together and hang out and be surrounded by those who understand you and validate you, and you know, you can share your story if you want to, you can cry if you want to, and you can laugh, but you know you're in a safe place with somebody who understands what you're going through.
What are you going through? What are you thinking when you lose that baby?
What did I do wrong? I think you have a lot of guilt because we're the ones responsible for this baby, and now something is wrong. And I know through our 3 losses, AJ, Joy, and Grace, I always felt I did something. Even though I know in the back of my mind there's nothing I could have done to have saved that baby. But, you know, did I eat something wrong? Did I exercise too hard? Should I have lost that weight before I got pregnant? It's just a
you punish yourself,
emotion.
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And so you're letting people know that it just happens sometimes and there's nothing you can do.
It does, absolutely.
Tell me about the little bear. I was surprised when I touched it. He's heavy. He's a heavy little guy.
Yeah. Well, this is Bubbles, and Bubbles weighs just under 3 pounds. And so when we you know, started Heal and Embrace, it was to financially support people, but then we served our very first lost family in the hospital with a bereavement companion and a photographer. And it was meeting this family where they were at of, they need something more. We have to do something more for this family. So our first weighted birthday bear was created, and we had the really humbling opportunity to go to their house in person too and give them their bear. And it happened just shortly after she was talking about, this mom was talking about her aching arms and how her arms just hurt physically because she should be holding her baby. And it was the perfect opportunity to say, well, actually, I have something for you.
Nice.
And was able to give her her bear that weighed the same amount as her son did when he was born. And so we've been making them for a few years now, and they're all over the world.
So you help people to honor and remember their babies too.
Absolutely, absolutely. We provide these, we have care packages, and then when we visit families in the hospital, we do that memory making and that bonding and those opportunities for parents to actively parent their children for that short period of time that they have.
I watched a little story on your website, and I know that people contact you when they know that they've lost the baby but they haven't delivered it yet. And I remember one mom talking about how you encouraged her that she would still get to bathe and dress her baby, which is just so special.
Yeah, absolutely. We provide those opportunities to know that they can do that. They can bathe them, they can diaper them and wrap them in love and still capture their beautiful features and celebrate who they are, and that's their baby.
I know too that Methodist Women's Hospital was given the gift of a cooling bed so that they could preserve the baby a little bit longer, so that they could spend more hours with the baby, which is really important.
It's very valuable. We have one too, and actually the family that received the first bear donated a cuddle cot to us a few years ago. So we're able to take that into the hospitals too with us to give that gift of time
Really
for
sweet.
our family.
Okay, what do you need from the community? What kind of help do you need so that you can do your work?
It's a great question. We're always looking for more volunteers who have that serving heart, who want to be in that sacred space of somebody who's had a loss. And people wonder, how can you do that? And at the end of the day, you know that you've done such a service to somebody who's going through the worst journey that they're ever going to have to walk. But you impacted them in some way, shape, or form. And we also do free photography, so we go into the hospitals too and take those pictures and allow those families to have those memories forever. So we're always looking to build our team as well. We never want to say no to a family after hospital calls. So we're looking to build that, and just word of mouth. I mean,
I didn't even know you existed. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Now people know.
Thank you. Yeah, word of mouth. I mean, that's how the majority of people find us and know who we are and what we do, and that way you're supporting somebody else too.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer.
Thank
and
you.
You're expecting?
Yes, we are. After 3 losses, we're pregnant again, and hopeful and joyful, and hopefully this baby will be here in about 7 weeks.
And you'll be holding a baby instead of a bear.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, grief can take many forms. Up next, tips for surviving the holidays from a local group that helps families to move forward.
They have just destroyed us, so whoever did it.
What are your options when you and your kids are feeling broken and shattered? I have some answers when KETV Newswatch 7 Chronicle continues.
I want to feel my grief because I want to go through it. I don't want to just try to skip over it.
We are mindful of that when we are working with families because we know that the holidays are such a special time, and this may be the first time that they experience Thanksgiving or Christmas without their loved one, and how difficult that is going to be.
I'm not going to change anything because I know that's what my husband would have wanted. We're going to celebrate, and we're going to be thankful for all the past holidays that we've had with him.
Just keep going. Is it the right approach? Is it better to start new traditions? Welcome back to KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle. This morning we're talking about grief and loss, especially as we head into the holidays. And joining me now to continue that discussion is Gabriela Martinez with Grief's Journey. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
What is it about the holidays that kind of bring out all these feelings and emotions?
I think it's all the milestones that you're missing out with family members, that they're no longer there with you. So I think that idea of like going through Thanksgiving with that person who would tell that joke every single time, or that person who would cook that meal every single time, and knowing that they're not going to be there for that, I think that kind of piles everything up for families.
And, you know, I think we watch TV commercials and we see the big bows and ribbons and everybody's happy, and it's a tough time of year for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where you're seeing all other families being reunited. There's so much on social media, there's so much on TV, and so knowing that that's not going to happen for you, for that special person, I think kind of creates that idea of like, I'm so alone in this, and nobody understands what I'm going through.
How important is it during this time of year when you're missing someone to reduce those stressful situations?
I think not just during the holidays, but I think throughout the year, of what can you do to take care of yourself, what can you do to take care of your family, being that empathetic person for that family as well. So I think that there's just lots of times where we just need to be, as a community, be more welcoming to them as well.
And maybe just more aware that there is loss, you know?
I think that's part of what our mission is, creating that compassion in the community. So
you do that very well.
Thank you. So I think just what can we do to reduce those stressors for other families, and recognizing that those families get to reduce those stressors for themselves.
Should we continue traditions?
I think that's up to the person. I think that there's no right or wrong way to grieve, right? And so we're never going to tell someone you need to change something about yourself. And I think they get to choose if they want to keep that tradition or if they want to change it up a bit. If they still want to have that same meal, just have an extra chair at the table for that person that they're missing out on that year.
I do find when I make my mom's recipes, I feel like she's with me. So I think that that's kind of something special that you can keep in your house too, if that makes you happy.
Yeah, I think a part of it is remembering the person who died, right? And you can do that in so many different ways. You can spread their cologne, you can cook their favorite meal, listen to their favorite music, watching their favorite movie during their times. There's so many different ways of remembering that person, and that's important for families.
So many people think they have to hide it, that they can't be open about, you know, they can't cry or they can't be sad on the holiday because everyone's coming. But is it important to just let that out?
I think so. I think for families, and it's different for everybody, but I do think that we should be okay with letting those emotions out, because creating this environment where you don't feel like you can express yourself, you're not being true to yourself, and people pick up on that, and so I think it is important to be able to do that.
Well, it can manifest into other things too. You might drink too much, you might, you know, abuse drugs. I mean, you know, people deal with grief in many ways.
Yes, and so we try to focus on those healthy coping skills, but we do recognize that sometimes if you don't allow yourself to talk about it, or you're surrounded by people that don't want you to talk about it, then you do turn to the unhealthy coping skills.
I know that Grief's Journey offers many opportunities for people to get together and remember their loved ones. Tell me about some of those.
So I think one of those ways where they can remember their special person is during our family days, so that family is together as a unit and they're working on crafts and working on creating those memories. kind of creating that new normal afterwards, but still bringing that special person back into their lives. So that's one way. But we also offer support groups for different age groups where they can talk about it, and they have a space where maybe they can't talk about it at school. So this is the space where other people who have been through similar situations have that space for them.
I think it makes a difference when a teenager is experiencing loss to talk to another teenager and not just another adult about it, right?
Yes, they're trying to find themselves, and so being able to rely on another person who's been through a similar situation, that peer-to-peer, always seems to work wonders for our teens.
How long should people wait after the passing of a loved one to seek help like Grief's Journey?
That's really dependent on that person.
Okay.
Sometimes we have families that will come in a month after a death happened in their family, and sometimes we'll have families that waited 3 years to come back. So it's really up to them on where they're at in their journey. And so we're never the ones to say, it's been 3 years, you can't grieve anymore. We're always, you're done. You're done. So we always welcome them after any time span has happened.
And does it cost anything?
No, our services are completely free. So I know that that is one of the biggest joys that I get of working, of telling that family member that they don't have to pay for anything. We're never going to bill them, and that, that this is a space that they can come to as many times as they want.
What about Spanish-speaking families? Can you work with them as well?
Yes. So I do work with the bilingual community, with the Spanish-speaking community, and so we are able to offer our services in English and Spanish, and so that can be through interpretation or having a group specifically for them.
If someone is experiencing grief, a friend or a family member of mine, how do I help them? What's the best thing to say? What do I do for them?
I think that's really hard because if you haven't experienced it, you don't really know what the right thing to say is, and sometimes I'm at loss of words of like, what do I tell you? Because I don't know what you're experiencing. And so I think our idea is about companioning them and just being alongside them and saying, I'm here to listen. Sometimes people just want someone to listen to them.
Just be present.
Yes. I think that in the social media age, everything's over Facebook or over Twitter and all of these things, and so making sure that you're just present and your phone is not near you, you're not worried about the outside world, you're just talking to a friend about what they're experiencing.
Right. So don't worry so much about the words, just go somewhere with them, do something, hang out.
Yes, yes. That can be going on a walk. It can be just going, just having dinner with them, asking them what they need. I think we want to help so badly, so we try to bake all these casseroles, and maybe that's not what they need. Maybe they just.
I hate casseroles. But you're right. What is it that they specifically need? And sometimes they don't even know.
Yes, and so I think that self-care is important. And that self-care is different for everybody. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for you.
The other thing is that even though they don't like casseroles, it shows that you care, and doing something is better than just doing nothing at all.
Yes.
Very good. Thanks, Gabriella.
Thank you.
You did a great job. We'll be right back with some final thoughts. And a reminder that your comments are a nice part of this show. If you'd like to be heard, you can email us. Send your comments to news@ketv.com. You're watching KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle. This morning we've been talking about miscarriages, infant and child loss, and what it's like when someone you've loved for years dies. It's especially hard during the holidays. Before we go, a couple tips for those dreading the next few weeks. Don't dread it, it's gonna be okay. First, know that it's okay to say no. You don't have to go to every party or event you're invited to. You don't have to make everything perfect. It's gonna be tough, and you're gonna be sad at times. Be honest, tell people what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Simplify the shopping or give an experience that you can do with someone instead of buying them more stuff. And if you're struggling, know that there's help. We just profiled 2 groups this morning, Healing Embrace and Grief's Journey. We have links to both online right now at ketv.com. And remember, if you missed any part of this show or you want to watch it again, it's also online. You want to share it with somebody, just go to our homepage and click on the menu button and then look for Chronicle. I'm Julie Cornell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning for KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.